Hey guys, the It trailer has finally arrived. This film has been kept pretty well under wraps, and fans have been begging for a new trailer, and it is finally here. Now we finally get our first glimpse at the movie, not only just like an iconic scene that has been known within It and Pennywise itself, but also some of the horrors that lay ahead for this movie. It is directed by Andres Muschietti, who also directed Mama, which is actually one of better horror films. I recommend it if you're big into horror, but it's not like over-the-top horror. It's just like this creepy horror movie. It's not like in your face, but it's also really good. And I'm kind of hoping It is going to follow that same structure that Mama did. Now, as for It, it's going to be starring Bill Skarsgård as the iconic Pennywise, which was originally Tim Curry in the original 90s miniseries, but now it's going to be Bill Skarsgård. The rest of the cast is relatively unknowns, except with the exception to Finn Wolfhard, who's actually part of Netflix Stranger Things, which has been a massive hit. The story will essentially follow the same that has been in the novel and the original miniseries. Now, it was a little bit different in the miniseries, mainly because it was for TV, so we couldn't quite get as graphic. But now that we have a big screen version, it can be a little bit more graphic, a little bit more detailed as far as following the original story. Now, in that respect, it's going to be following a group of kids as they find out are being tormented by this demonic clown named Pennywise. And as Pennywise actually has a dark secret that has been keeping the town kind of on lock for quite some time, the kids have to figure out a way to stop him. To me, this film looks amazing and terrifying. I'm not the type that looks forward to horror films very often, but this is definitely one of the ones that I'm going to be looking forward to and have been looking forward to since it was announced. And I really loved how they opened this trailer with the iconic scene of Georgie losing his boat down a drain and Pennywise being there. I liked how they captured that from the original, but I liked that they kept it more dark and a little bit more realistic of this demonic clown versus what the original 90s miniseries was, where it was a little bit more campy, a little bit more funny, I guess, because it was on TV, so they couldn't quite go that extra mile. But now again, as I said, it's on the big screen. We can really take it a little bit further and really embrace what Stephen King originally wrote in his novel. Now don't get me wrong, I did like the 90s miniseries. Tim Curry absolutely nailed Pennywise. He was definitely one of the greatest characters and most iconic horror figures that was not like the big names like Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Leatherface, any of those guys. He just wasn't one of those guys, but he still had that staple even though he was in a miniseries versus a full-fledged movie. Now we're going to see the full-fledged movie version of Pennywise, and it's going to be dark, I'm not going to lie. I'm really looking forward to that, just to see how creepy and how much he's going to torment the Losers Club and the town as a whole. I'm really interested to see just how far they're willing to take this character and how dark they're willing to go, but still sort of keep that not over-the-top horror that a lot of horror movies have come to be known for. I'm really looking forward to that really good balance between a little bit of campiness and a little bit of fun in the overall movie. But as far as like the horror stuff, I don't want them to go over the top. Like for instance, in the original movie as well as in the book, there's a scene where there's like blood shooting out of a sink. And you can see it in the trailer actually, and it's a lot darker blood. It's a lot more like a realistic type of blood versus the original series, which was a beet red, like very candy apple red blood. Obviously dramatized for like television, so it wouldn't be over the top. But this one's really going to go there, and I can't wait to see how far it goes, but still sort of keep themselves back on the leash a little bit because you don't want to over push your boundaries a bit, you know? Another thing that I'm really looking forward to in this new It adaptation is going to be the Losers Club. How they come together. They sort of come together very odd, I think, in the miniseries. They sort of, some know each other, others don't. They sort of just be like, hey, you want to be friends? Yeah, cool. And that's kind of how they become friends in the original miniseries. I'm kind of interested to see if they already are friends in this adaptation. They sort of discover each other and become friends like they did in the original a little bit more realistic in this newer version in order to stop Pennywise. I'm just curious to see how they're going to come together to defeat this demonic clown. And speaking of Pennywise, let's talk about Bill Skarsgård's portrayal of Pennywise. My God, this guy looks terrifying. I mean, I know he looked really terrifying, at least to me, when the images first came out through Entertainment Weekly of the full costume, full face, everything. It looked pretty terrifying. But now that we get to see it in the trailer, it looks 10 times more terrifying. The scene that really sold it for me as far as Bill Skarsgård's Pennywise was when he sort of comes up underneath the water with his face like that, and then just like bum rushes Bill, like screaming and yelling. It was really creepy and kind of terrifying. I know a lot of people, even when that first image came out, as well as probably when this trailer comes out, are going to be extremely skeptical, and they're really not going to like that, and they're going to be like, oh, that's not the Pennywise we know. Well, yeah, the Pennywise you know was based on a 90s miniseries. Like, it wasn't the actual thing. This is actually going for that horror vibe. It's a big screen adaptation. It's going to be rated R. It's going to be probably what Stephen King more intended, rather than what we got on an ABC miniseries in the 1990s. So you really have to take it with a grain of salt, and I respect it. I think it looks creepy, I think it looks terrifying, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So guys, that pretty much wraps up my thoughts on the It trailer. This film comes out in September. As I said, I'm really looking forward to it. I don't tend to look forward to horror movies, but this is one that I'm definitely looking forward to. Be sure to let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'll also leave a link to the trailer in case you haven't seen it yet in the description box down below, so be sure you check that out, as well as leave a comment on your thoughts. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.